Hey, my name's Nick. I am a co-founder at Dial Technologies, and today we are going to walk through a workflow that automates creating Attio tasks from Granola notes. So the first thing we're going to jump into here is the workflow. And so the first step here is the trigger, which is webhook received. And so this is receiving a webhook, and this webhook that it's receiving is coming from the webhook we set up for our workspace. So every time there is a note created, it will add that event essentially to this workflow through this webhook. And so the next step here is we're parsing the JSON. So the data that comes from this webhook here, we are looking at the data there and extracting a couple of things. So the note ID, the parent record ID, and the actor type. The reason we're getting the actor type is for this next step because we want to filter out where it's not a Granola note. If someone goes and creates a note, we don't want to trigger this workflow. We only want it to be from the Granola notes. The note ID and the parent record ID, for obvious reasons, we need to go and fetch the note, and we also need to fetch the parent record that the note is on. And so that's what we're doing here. So in this step, we are going to use this API call here to get the note data. Again, we're going to parse out the content of the note. We're going to fetch the parent record ID, which is again coming from that first JSON parse. And then we're going to do a simple prompt completion here. So basically output yes or no, depending on if we mention that there is a proposal that needs to be sent. Obviously, this can get expanded to something that's more complex. If you want specific tasks to get created, you could create this workflow or change this prompt completion here. But for demo purposes, keeping it pretty simple here. And then the filter here is just looking to see if that completion was yes. And if that completion output is yes, then we will obviously create the task. In this case, it's assigning it to myself and it's assigning it to the companies that it found based off the Granola note. And so this is the workflow that we're going to run. We're going to run it in an example for Airbus Ventures. So you'll see here, there's no notes currently. And if I go to Granola, here is the note that we are going to run this on. And so we have our Granola Attio integration set up to run and create the note in Attio when it's added to a specific folder, in this case, the Attio sync. So we have the person here, Libby Hudson, which is a team member here, Libby Hudson, with the same email address for this specific company. And so I'm going to go ahead and just add this to the Attio sync folder. Before I do that, I'm actually going to click into tasks, and you'll see that, here's a previous example that we ran, which is completed, but just wanted to show you that this is essentially empty right now, and I have no notifications. So if I go back to the Airbus Ventures, click on notes, we go back to Granola, we add this to Attio sync, you'll see it's saving to Attio. Here, this notes will get populated to one note as it shows here. This is the note, just an exact replica. We can go back to the workflow and we can see that this is running or has just run. Use date credits. And if we go to the tasks here, you'll see that there is now a create proposal for Airbus Ventures task. If I click on my tasks, you can see there is a new task that is not completed. And then I also got a notification basically showing me that this webhook workflow assigned me a task. So I can click into the task. You can see it's assigned to myself. I have one linked record, which is the Airbus Ventures, and then I could complete this task and save this as well. So this can be, expanded like I had mentioned in the prompt completion here. You can expand this. You could also create additional filters if you wanted to. One thing to note is you could assign due dates automatically based off of some formula if you want to get proposals out, within 48 hours or something like that as well. So there's lots of opportunities here. The key thing is just setting up the Attio folder, to the Attio integration to trigger on that folder to create a more manual approach. So that way not every single Granola note triggers a proposal to be sent if it's not needed. And also setting up the webhook, which you can find in the Attio API documentation as well. That's all we have for today. Thanks for joining. If you did enjoy this video or find it helpful, please hit the like button. And if you have any suggestions for future workflows or integrations, please do leave those down in the comments so that way we know how we can best serve our customers and audience. Thank you again.